As you may know, this is my second book, How to Get Over Your Ex, a step-by-step guide to mend a broken heart, Italian-American style. So we're going to be talking about Italian-American culture, we're going to be talking about exes, breakups, all that good stuff, how to move on, how to find a new love. But first, what I want to do is address frequently asked questions. The things that I get all the time, constantly, and you guys are going to ask them to me. I believe in using what you know to write your book, or anything. Start with what you know. So obviously I know Italian-American culture. I'm 75% Italian, 25 Hungarian, for anyone who's interested. And when I was in my graduate program, as we were talking about before, marriage and family therapy, we learned a lot about using your family background, your culture, your religion, your socioeconomic status, your cohort, all of that to influence how you handle different problems. Heartbreak is a common problem, and I've encountered it personally, I've encountered it with clients of mine. Working as a matchmaker in New York for the last 10 years, one of the biggest challenges has been people who are not over their exes. And I was just thinking about how can I help them? What can I do to move them forward? Because the answer is not just throwing them on a bunch of dates. I know that. I don't know if anyone else has tried the whole serial dating approach to get over an ex, but it doesn't really work. I figured I need a new approach, and why not go with what I know? And I know there's things about Italian-American culture that can help people move forward and mend their broken heart. This book is both for men and women, and this is something I actually struggled with because I thought maybe I should write to women since more women than men read self-help books. It's a fact. But then I thought about guys who were struggling after a breakup. What would they do? Would they go to Barnes & Noble or another bookstore and actually sit in the self-help aisle and buy a book? Probably not. That's why I made it an ebook. That's why it's available on Amazon, and it can be an ebook or they can order it. And I figured I can't just leave the men out because they need help too. I know they need help. They've been coming to me and talking to me all about this. You really can't find a new love when you're still stuck on your ex. I know this. I think a lot of us here can say the same thing, that when you try too hard, it doesn't work. You have to really do the work yourself before you try to find someone else. And you have to heal your heart and do all of these things to help yourself move forward before you can really find that new relationship. Otherwise, it might just be a rebound. When I was sitting down to write this book, I thought about, okay, what does everyone think about when they think of Italian-American culture? Largely, it's food. Today, I was actually taking a cab here from Bay Ridge, and I got the craziest Greek cab driver, and I decided in the middle of his cursing and swearing and everything else that I would tell him what I'm doing and why I'm coming here, because maybe it would calm him down. So I told him, and I said, well, do you have any advice about how to get over an ex-Italian style? I know you're not Italian, but I mean, this book can apply to any different ethnicity. And he said, yeah, pasta and Frank Sinatra. And I laughed and I said, well, that's what I was thinking when I wrote this book too. So one of my chapters is about Sunday dinner and the importance of having friends and family and food in your life, and I think that can go a long way, kind of emotional eating to heal yourself. We've all been there. Another chapter is about faith, which this could apply obviously to other religions or cultures. It doesn't have to be the Catholic religion, but just the idea of having something that you might fall back on in a hard time could be helpful. Now, this book does apply to people who are divorced or widowed as well, but there needs to be some modification. So say if you have a child, you have to talk to your ex, and I think at that point you should have a really good co-parenting relationship, but that you should understand there's no romantic relationship between you. I think that a student ex is very easily identifiable, but if you never heard the term, I basically think it means someone who's stupid. And if they broke up with you, they're stupid because you have some value and they're not recognizing it. They might be a nice person, they might be smart, they might have an MBA, but there's something stupid about them that didn't make the relationship work. So that's what I think people should think when they're going through a breakup. You don't want at that time to highlight all the good things about your ex, but you want to focus on the bad things because that's going to help you move forward. You don't want to just reminisce about the good times, but this is the time to realize their flaws. In my book, I list 10 signs of a student ex. And there's 10 for females and there's 10 for males. We can go over some of them later if you guys want because they're fun. But I said forget 50 Shades of Grey and focus on 50 Shades of Forget About It. And these are 50 things that you should not do when you're trying to get over an ex. You have to read the book to know what they are, although I do have a free chapter online at booklocker.com and it mentions some of these things. The second part of that question was, what is the most important thing to forget about? And that would be to abandon the hope that your relationship is actually going to work out. You have to believe that it's not going to work out. Now, we all know that some people do get back together, and those are far and few between, that they get back together and actually have like a healthy, happy, long-term relationship. But some people need to grow up, some people need to take a break. I understand they might get back together and live happily ever after. But I don't want you guys to think that, or anyone that's reading this book. At that time of the breakup, you have to think, this is not going to work, I need to move on. I have to basically fight for a healthy relationship because this was not healthy, it was broken. So I'm going to just act like my ex does not exist. Unfortunately, your ex is dead to you at this point. If they come back, maybe they have reincarnation, great, but at this point they're dead. In my family, the joke is that people have a head like a rock and they don't budge. I mean, even if they're wrong, they're right, and that kind of thing. You have to be stubborn in the belief that even though your heart is saying, I want to be in this relationship, your head has to be there, like, this person isn't right for me, this person, this is a stunad. At the end of every chapter, I actually have different exercises that people can do to kind of convince themselves, because they might not believe it. One thing is journaling. Journaling has helped me a lot. I've had journals since I was 11 years old. And in those journals, one thing that I would do, or that I'd recommend a client would do, would be to make a list of all of those bad things about the relationship. The needs that you had that were not getting met, and what you really want. Like, what's your wish list in an ideal relationship? The good life is something that you can achieve if you follow your heart and focus on things that are important to you, and pursue hobbies and interests and better yourself, and not just make your life a big sob story. Like, I get it, you know, you broke up, it's terrible, you're crying, you're going through all the emotions, you're grieving. Your friends and family will be supportive of you to a certain point, but after a while, it's like, get over yourself. No one wants to hear it. You have to be strong. You have to have that mentality that is so much of a part of the Italian American culture. Italian Americans have worked very hard and accomplished a lot since they've come here. So you have to kind of develop that mentality that you can be empowered and you can get through a lot of challenges and hurdles in order to have that good life.